Our first guest on the show is the number one person in my life. She's a vegan recipe developer, a plant-based dietitian, and an Ayurveda enthusiast. Her hilarious, fun, and entertaining videos steal our hearts every single week on Instagram, and her recipes make our mouth water. My first guest is none other than my wife, my love, my everything, my soul, Radhi Devlukia Shetty.
Oh, thanks.
I love you.
That was a nice intro.
Thanks for doing
I didn't
this
pay
with
him
me.
to say that or make him food to say that.
Thanks for doing this for me.
Thanks.
I'm
Thanks
so
for having
glad.
me as your first guest. I'm
I know.
excited.
I'm so
What are we
glad.
going to talk about?
So as you're going to find, one of the first things people always ask us wherever we are is if we're brother and sister.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Even if we're like holding hands or walking in a couple way, people will be like, hey, are you guys brother and sister? Are you related? And we're like, would that not be really weird right now if we were related?
Yeah,
But,
we're holding hands when you're like lying on my shoulder when we're
On
on
a
the
plane, yeah.
But definitely not related, no relation.
any way.
The eyes are not exactly the same color either.
No.
So the way we thought we'd do this is we asked some of our friends
Yeah.
to pick out things that they think you'd all like to know about us. So I'm going to go through the topics that we have here. And so the first thing that they asked us to talk about is, how did we meet?
Okay, so how did we meet? Do you want to tell the story?
No, you tell it.
No, it's okay. You can tell better.
Okay, I'll tell it.
Okay, yeah, you tell it.
Okay, so the first time I actually met Radhi was before I became a monk. And I met her very briefly. I thought she was beautiful and attractive, but I didn't really think anything of it. Like I genuinely just was so focused on what I was doing at life at that time. And I was so spiritually inclined and spiritually focused that I literally didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, and my mum introduced me to you.
Yes, so I
Yeah.
should tell that story.
Yeah.
So actually, I met Radhi's mom even before I met her.
Yeah.
And so I was training to become a monk, and I met Radhi's mom, and I was asked to show her how to do a particular service at the temple. So I had to take her around, etc. Now, the incredible thing about this is that is the only time
You ever asked.
while I was there that I was ever asked to show
Yeah.
another person how to do this service. So the one day that I had to show someone how to do this particular service, this voluntary service at the temple,
It was my
the one
mama.
day that her mom turned up. And at that time, I didn't know she had a daughter. I didn't know anything about this lady. I was like, oh, she's around my mom's age.
Yeah.
And she was wonderful, and we got along, but I was just showing her what to do, and then literally didn't speak to her.
No. And then my mum wanted me to get more involved in, and I really wanted to get more involved in like the spiritual side of my life. And so she met him and wanted me to get introduced to the youth community there. And so she passed on my number to you, but you passed it on to your sister.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I passed it on to my sister. I was like, no, I need to stay focused, do my thing. And my sister's very spiritually inclined too. Big shout out to Amy. And then you guys got connected and you became friends.
Yeah, and actually at that point, my mum had said to me, "Oh, you know, I met this really nice guy at the temple," and she was like to me, "Oh, after I met him, I prayed, and I was like, oh, I hope my daughter meets somebody like this. I know he's going to be a monk, but I hope she meets someone that's like this because he seems really nice." Little did he know what was going to happen.
And then, go on.
And then what happened? He became a monk.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you speak. Oh, I heard him speak all the time because he used to do lots of youth programs or university talks. And so,
Sessions on philosophy, meditation.
yeah, philosophy, meditation. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's such an incredible speaker. And the way that he makes such incredible wisdom so relevant to us who are like young teenagers or not young
You weren't a
teenagers.
teenager.
I was a teenager. I was still a teenager.
No, you
was I
weren't.
18?
No, you weren't.
No way. How old was I?
One thing you're going to realize throughout
Yeah,
this
I'm
whole
so
interview
bad
is
at
that
time.
I'm the one who remembers all the dates.
I'm
the one who remembers everything.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. I barely remember things that happened like 2 years ago. So no, I wasn't a teenager. I was out of university, which feels like a long time ago. So I was in my 20s and I saw him speak and I just thought it was so incredible how he was able to articulate such deep wisdom in a way that was so relevant to people who were so young and probably wouldn't have been so interested in reading a book about it. And so I was in awe of him, and he also looked really cool. He had like a bald head. he didn't look like the type of person who was going to be speaking about these things. He had like tattoos and a bald head, but then he was in robes. And I was like, this is really, really cool, but weird at the same time.
You're so strange.
Yeah.
And then when I left being a monk, which is a whole story in itself, we can talk about that another day. When I left being a monk, her and my sister were really, really close.
Yeah.
And me and my sister are really, really close. I trust my sister. She's one of my best friends. And I sat down with her one day and she said, well, you know what? Radhi likes someone. And I was just like, oh, who? And I was thinking she was going to say some other person's name. And she's like, she really likes you. And I was like, oh, I really like her. Like, I'd love to get to know her better. And we'd interacted. We'd got to know each other a bit better because we'd organized charity events together, etc. And so I'd seen her not in the role of being a girlfriend, obviously, or someone that I was dating. I'd seen her interact with other people, other humans, inside a project management organization, organizing events. So I'd seen her personality and like observed how she behaved around certain people, how she had talked to people, how she interacted with people. And based on all those things, I thought she was a great person. So when my sister told me that, I was secretly quite happy as well.
And I always heard about him through his sister, and his sister would talk about him with so much love and affection, and he treats her like she's his baby. No matter how old she gets, she's literally like his baby. And I used to see like conversations between them. I used to be like, oh my gosh, he's so sweet. Like, he's so sweet, even though he's gone off being a monk, but he was still really, really caring and loving towards his sister and his family. And then, I had told her that I liked him before he knew about it, or before you'd probably even thought about it.
Yeah. So then that was it, really. That's how we met. We almost met before I became a monk.
We hadn't really had conversations,
etc. Never had conversations, never spoke, but had just seen each other in our own elements.
Yeah.
And then when I left being a monk, later that year, we started going out. And so that was around towards the end of 2013.
And then it just went really fast. We both kind of, as soon as we spoke about it, we both knew that we wanted to be with each other, and we were really certain about it. And it could have gone really wrong, but we were like, we could have both been really crazy. But it ended up just working out. We both really had kind of understood each other just by observing one another, I guess. And there were a few surprises, I'm sure. But we got along straight away, and we were both pretty much went from, I really like you, to, I love you, in like a day. And then it was like, we want to get married in like a week. As in, we didn't get married in a week, but we said we wanted to get married eventually in a week after that. And then we ended up spending a lot of time at each other's homes, right? He was spending a lot of time at my house for ages. That's pretty much where I took him to have all of our dates, because I loved being around my family, and I was like, best of both worlds. I can be around the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and the people that I've spent most of my life with. And so, most of our dates would involve my parents and my sister and my brother-in-law at the time. And so we got to know each other kind of in our own environments as well, really fast, which I think helped us fast forward a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I remember that my sister gave me like an action plan. She's like, this is what you're going to get along on. This is what you're going to struggle with. This is going to be your challenges. And I definitely owe it to her to bring us together. Like, I think she was a huge part of us being together, my sister, definitely. And she was like, because she knows me so well, and I feel she got to know you well as well. She was just like, this is what you guys are going to agree on. This is what you're not going to agree on. This, and it was so nice to have that. Yeah. Because you could go into a relationship having more understanding of the other person.
Can I just say, one of the things she said that we wouldn't get along on is Bollywood, because I loved Bollywood songs and films at the time. But you like a good Bollywood song.
Questionable.
Once in a while.
Questionable. But I decided to get over that.
Yeah.
And you barely, you've got to go over it.
Still have a love for it.
But we spent a lot of time at each other's parents' homes and with our families, which was great because you had to be yourself. I used to love what your mom used to tell you.
My mom was so funny. So obviously, like, it was a person to her that was, we were dating. And so usually you would put in a lot of effort in the way that you dress and doing your hair when the person you're dating comes over. But yeah, I would literally be in the same clothes that I was wearing like the whole day, which was pretty much like pajama bottoms and a really scruffy top. And my mum would be like, do you not want to maybe, put a different top on, or you don't want to change your trousers? I was like, no, mum, if he can't love me in what I'm wearing right now, which is what he's probably going to see me in for the rest of his life, then it's just not meant to be. Okay, he has to love me for. And she would, okay, but you could try, a little bit. I was like, no. And it worked, so.
Yeah. And she's so beautiful and cute. Like, even when she's dressed all hobo chic, I'm just like, I love it, And it's quite nice, actually. Like, I genuinely believe this. Like, I've rarely see her with makeup on.
Yes.
And so,
true.
like, it's fun when you fall in love with someone based on who they are and their personality and their energy, and all of that beauty shines through. So, yeah, I love you.